Hey, welcome to Joe's Multiverse. I'm Joe, and the universe that we're going to be visiting today, superhero movies. That's right, we're playing another 5 top superhero movies in this box. This box right here. I'm going to pick out 5 superhero type movies. I'm going to show them to you. I'm going to talk about them, and then we're going to rank them 1 through 5. Just a disclaimer, I do talk about spoilers in these movies, but most of these movies have been out for a long time, so whatever. Let's start with the first pick of the day. Iron Man 3. All right. Another trilogy that doesn't end in the highest note, but I like it a lot better than the second one. Ben Kingsley was awesome in this movie. I appreciated some of the things, a lot of the things that they did and tried to do in this movie. I love the way that they show Robert Downey Jr.'s like post-traumatic stress syndrome with this coming out after the first Avengers and kind of what that did to him. I like how you kind of see him out on his own. He, after his house blows up and everything, he's totally solo. He doesn't have the other Avengers. He barely has his suit. He has to, manufacture some weapons and not necessarily a full like Iron Man suit, but some Iron Man-y type weapons to use in his adventure. But I love Ben Kingsley in this. I've always been a fan of Guy Pearce. A lot of times he kind of plays maybe kind of an icky kind of character. I guess he's good at it. I loved him in The Count of Monte Cristo. But yeah, it was... I can't really speak too intelligently on a bunch of stuff that they did wrong or why the movie didn't do better than it did, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the second one when it came out, but then looking back, whatever. But the third Iron Man, I really enjoyed it. It was a real shame to see him destroy those suits, to have them blown up and then see them all kind of explode in the air at the end. And I know it was kind of a way to show a bunch of different versions, because he's not going to be in a movie or an Avengers movie or an Iron Man movie where he's going to be wearing all the different armor and everything. So it was kind of a cool way to see the MCU's version of all the different armors, but it was very cringeworthy to see them all blow up. But he makes some more, whatever. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. And Iron Man 3. All right. Number 2. The Green Hornet. Anybody who's not familiar with the Green Hornet, was a TV show back in the 60s. It had my man Bruce Lee as Kato, which kind of helped him blow up in the United States at the time. That show, from what I've seen very little of it. I know more about the show and the history of it than I actually do of the actual material of watching the show. I don't believe it was like a comedy. I mean, this was really done as a comedy, and there were some things that they didn't do that well. I don't think the 3D was done well at all, because that was a big thing blowing up at the time was 3D. I didn't mind Seth Rogen. I thought it was fine. I thought he was fine. I feel like Jay Cho, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. I thought he was good. I thought he was comedic, very talented martial artist. I mean, no Bruce Lee, but what are you going to do? I don't have a whole lot of bad to say. It's a fun movie. I don't have a whole lot of bad to say about this movie. I know that there's some things that were done wrong. I love the car. That was cool. For a comedy, bringing an old TV show to the big screen, turn into a movie, it's rarely done great, but the bad guy, love him, the villain. It's for me, it's a fun movie. That's all I can say about it, really. All right, number 3. What do we have? He-Man in the Masters of the Universe. Now, I did say that I was going to mix it up a little bit, so I threw a few different things in the pile of movies. This is not the original He-Man. This is a retelling or reimagined He-Man that came out in the early 2000s. I think it was done fine. I don't know about Battle Cat's mask and stuff because I'm really old school, and it took me a long time when I was younger to kind of warm up to the idea, but it's an updated version. I think that I'm not sure what their idea is for the new animated series. I believe that's coming out. I'm not sure where they're going with it. I would like to see like the old school style, the way He-Man used to look. I would love to see like just new versions of that, kind of looking pretty much the same as the old ones did, but it would probably look a little better because cameras are better and animation is better. So, but the thing I like the best about this is they give an origin to Skeletor, and that's really cool to see. This particular DVD set is 10 episodes, and it's just got one disc in there. So I know you can find all of the episodes from this version of He-Man. This is a lot better than like the Out in Space one that they had for a little while, or whatever the heck that was. But this is very cool. I for animated show, it's not really a movie, but it's pretty decent. It's better than the Dolph Lundgren one, and I'm a huge Dolph Lundgren fan, so not that has anything to do with anything. Number 4. All right, time for some shit talking. G.I. Joe Retaliation. All right, where do I begin? It's got The Rock in it. Whenever your franchise is going downhill or needs a boost, just insert The Rock. Works every time. That's fine. We all like The Rock. I like The Rock. I think he is an awesome roadblock that couldn't have a better choice. That's fine. Didn't have any problem with him in it. I don't necessarily think I wanted to watch The Rock show because he kind of turns out to be the main star of it, and that's not what... I mean, it's kind of like Will Smith being in Suicide Squad. The first Suicide Squad, I wanted to see a Suicide Squad movie. I wasn't wanting to see a Will Smith movie. I love Will Smith. I have almost all of his movies. I like a Will Smith movie, but that's not the movie I wanted. I wanted to see Suicide Squad. With this, I wanted to see a G.I. Joe movie. I wasn't going to it to watch a Rock movie. And the biggest problem I had with this movie is they killed my man right here, Duke. Yeah, Channing Tatum gets killed in the very beginning. I mean, it kind of starts out that it's going to look like Duke and Roadblock have this cool buddy, relationship, and they're teaming up. They're putting the Rock in there. Channing Tatum, I mean, he was Duke. You don't kill Duke off in G.I. Joe in the second movie at the beginning. What's the matter with you? It still had Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, which everybody's favorite. That's cool. They ended up in the whole history of G.I. Joe. Snake Eyes turned out it was never evolved around him. He wasn't the centerpiece of the G.I. Joe cartoon, but like in a lot of different franchises, like Star Wars. Luke was the main character, but some of the cooler characters end up getting to be fan favorites, like Han Solo. It wasn't centered around his story, but a lot of people like Han Solo a lot better because he's the cooler character. Boba Fett, he was barely in the original Star Wars movies, but he became one of the huge fan favorites. Now Mandalorian, biggest thing in Star Wars right now. So, but Duke he's like him and Clint from my childhood. They were always like, the leaders, and you kill them off. No, you don't do it. This is the other huge problem that I have with this movie. That is not Lady J. This is Lady J. This is not. Now, I know they always gotta sex it up, but it's just, this is Flint. I don't know what this is. This is not Flint. This is Flint and Lady J. This is a Flint and Lady J that get two attractive people, sex it up, and shove it in the movie for today's hormonal standards. I don't know. The guy that played Flint, that is not Flint. He didn't even do anything in the movie. I mean, if you're gonna go as far as killing, where's he at? Duke. If you're gonna kill Duke, then you better take Flint and have him kind of be the leader alongside Roadblock. And the only reason they gave it to Roadblock is because it was The Rock and whatever. But Flint didn't do anything in this movie. It's this whole thing. So there's no Baroness, no Scarlet, no Ripcord, no Destro, no Hawk, no Heavy Duty, no Breaker. Yeah, I mean, no. I don't even think there was any mention of them. And they take Bruce Willis, and I don't know if in like the cartoon or anything, if there was any explanation of why they were called Joes or a character. I mean, there might have been, but they take Bruce Willis and put him in there. He just seems out of place. He's playing the same character. Like when they introduce him, he's coming down from the ceiling. It's like, how high is that ceiling? And he's just, it's just ridiculous. He's playing the same character as in the movie Red. And this G.I. Joe movie came out in 2013. Red 2 came out in 2013. So I don't know. And the other thing that they have a character, the Blind Master, and they've made mention of him in the comics, in the cartoon, but they've never really, I don't think they ever showed him or anything. And they have RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan playing him. And when I first saw that, I was like, this is so corny. And I know him, like, I don't know him, but that actual person, RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan, is hugely into like kung fu. Like it's a big part of his life. It's a big interest, and he made some ridiculous Iron Fists or something movie, which it's not something I would watch, but it just seemed ridiculous. He did a good job. The kind of the second time they showed him, when Storm Shadow is, he's explaining kind of, they kind of retconned his story where he didn't actually, Storm Shadow didn't actually kill the what is it, the Hard Master. That Zartan did that and kind of tricked him and trained him to be like a villain. And that part where they were showing the blind master, that seemed okay, but just when I first saw RZA and he's supposed to be blind, and it's like the blind kung fu master from the old TV show Kung Fu, when you take the pebble from my hand, then you're ready. It's kind of like a ripoff of that, and I mean it just seems so corny. I don't know. We got Zartan back. The character or the actor Arnold Vosloo, however you pronounce his name, he's back as Zartan, but you don't. The actor Arnold Vosloo is barely in the movie. The actor Jonathan Pryce he's in the movie a lot. You probably remember him from Pirates of the Caribbean. But he kind of plays Zartan. I mean, he plays the president. Zartan is impersonating the president, but Price is in the movie way more. There's only really a few shots of the original actor that plays Zartan, which, I mean, whatever. But I don't know. This movie just did a lot of weird stuff, and I've always wanted to see the twins, the Crimson Twins, the ones I think they had like a scar on both of their faces, but it was on opposite sides of each one of them. If you tried to stuff all of the G.I. Joe characters in one movie, it would be bloated, but I would have kind of liked to have seen the twins. I just remember them from watching the cartoon when I was a kid. So at least we get Cobra Commander still. He's not played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which I know a lot of people. It was a big cheese fest for the first movie in a way. A lot of people didn't like it, but at the time I appreciated kind of the backstory and the surprise and reveal that the character that Joseph Gordon-Levitt played, the Baroness's was a brother, turns out to be Cobra, and I liked it. I nowhere that I know of in the comics or the old cartoon was that storyline similar in any way, but for what the movie was at the time, I like the backstory of all of the characters, and I just did. And so in this, Joseph Gordon-Levitt doesn't play Cobra. He looks more like Cobra. He's got the Cobra commander, outfit on, his uniform. He's got the face shield. He's like Cobra in the whole thing. But when they go and rescue him at the beginning, they just leave Destro there, and Cobra turns and he's like, "Destro, you're out of the band." And you don't really see. I mean, all you see is Destro's eyes in that bantha tank or whatever the hell it is, and it was like, what? Were they? Couldn't they get the same actor that played Destro? Did they didn't want to put the budget up for doing his like face the whole time, or like Destro was always in G.I. Joe. It's like that was really disappointing. That took me out. I remember watching it the first time with that part, just leaving Destro. I mean, he's right there. It's not like they. I mean, at least they made mention of him, but it's not like they never made mention of him and just forgot about him or said he's somewhere else or something. I mean, they show him he's in the tank right next to Cobra, and then they're just like, "You're out of the band." It's like, why did they? I suppose if I looked it up or researched it, I could find out why they did that, but it was just really disappointing. It was one of the many things that just took the movie way down for me. And where's Gung Ho? I always liked Gung Ho. He was, when I think of G.I. Joe and like a group of the characters in my mind, I always see Gung Ho. I remember a little action figure, the old ones when I was a little kid. I had Quick Kick, and looking at it now, it's kind of ridiculous. He had his karate pants on, but then he never had a shirt, but he had like an armor belt across his chest with throwing stars. And when I was a kid, I thought that was cool because I was growing up, I was always into throwing stars and nunchucks and martial arts and stuff, but like, I don't know how they would have done that, but that would have been kind of cool to see somebody like that. But the saving grace of the whole movie, and it didn't save it, in my opinion, was, The Rock is always awesome, perfect roadblock, and then they had Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. But one thing that I really, really did like, for the moment that it was there in the movie, was when Storm Shadow gets his gear on and he's going out and he stops and he like pauses, and I don't know if he saw him out of the corner of his eye or if he ninja senses him, but turns around and there's Snake Eyes and they start fighting. And I thought that was kind of I don't know if you go as far as call it an epic fight scene or battle, but that was cool. I really liked that. And Storm Shadow starts chucking his throwing stars, and then for a second, Snake Eyes has his two automatic guns and using them to shoot down the throwing stars. And for a second I'm thinking like, well, these are kind of like two ninjas, like why are you using machine guns? But then like instantly I'm like, well, it's Snake Eyes. Those are two of his biggest weapons. He always has those dual guns. So that kind of laid in with the how it's supposed to be. But that fight between them, I thought that was very cool. And I am really glad, and I really appreciate them having the two actors play Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. It's the continuity and everything that helps a lot. And Ray Park is always awesome in a role like that. I hope they reboot this. They have to. The figures are huge. Everybody likes G.I. Joe. So hopefully they can do something else, something better, and get it on track. So number 5, another slipcover, The Dark Knight Rises. On one of the past 5 movies in this box, I ended up picking out the first Batman, and here we have The Dark Knight Rises, which I really like. Tom Hardy killed it as Bane. They had some missteps, and it's pretty hard to follow up on what they did with the Joker and Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger as the Joker is untouchable, and when you have a performance like that in a great movie like that, it's the next movie is just it's going to be working against itself from the beginning. It's got a lot of hurdles, and if it's perfectly done, it's still not going to be Heath Ledger and the Joker. That movie was for all kinds of reasons, but I like this movie. I like it a lot. It's a long movie, and it was his kind of exit out as Christian Bale as Batman, and I don't mind it. They could have done some stuff differently, but personally, I couldn't have wrote a better movie. But anyway, it was, maybe some people didn't like how they treated Robin or something, but in this particular Batman universe, that's just kind of how things went down. So I always, if I watch Batman Begins, I watch the second one and I end up with this. So I don't ever stop watching it after the second one and go, I don't like the third one, because I do. All right, let's put these in order. All right, this is a little difficult. I'm going to do that. And then these here, it's gonna, I need to think about this for a moment. Excuse me. All right. I think I got it figured out here. All right, number 5 is this garbage. I've said enough about this thing. Number 4, I'm going with He-Man. The animated movies and cartoons don't usually go too high because, you know, live action is always better. But I don't like it as much as the original, but it's He-Man. It's a cool version. It's better than some of the other versions of He-Man. Number 3, Ben is probably laughing that I even talked about this movie, but I liked it. I liked it. And then the last 2, these can be interchangeable depending on who you are, what your taste is, and how you feel about each of them. If I was going to watch one of these movies, like if I had to pick between them right now, only because I've watched this other one kind of more recently and probably more often or more times, and I just like the other movie better. Number 2, I'm going with The Dark Knight Rises. I don't have anything against this movie. It just couldn't have, I don't think it could have been a better movie because it was working against the second one, which was the best. So, but it is what it is. And then my number 1 movie out of these 5 is going to be Iron Man 3. And I looked this up on Rotten Tomatoes, and it got a lot better score than I thought it would. I think it was like a 78 and a 79 between the it's not called reviewers, but the professional reviewers, and then like the general audience vote. And so it was better than I thought on Rotten Tomatoes. But Iron Man 3 is the number 1 movie out of these 5 today. Okay, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and smack that notification bell so you're notified each and every time that I come out with a new video, and I'm coming out with them all the time. All right, until the next time we enter the multiverse, I will see you later.